Hi, I'm here with Rick and Shirley Forbes. They join us from Edmonton, Alberta. Rick and Shirley are executive directors with Experior, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you guys here with us.
Thanks, Gene.
So to start off, I want to ask you guys, what is your background in the financial business? You've been in the industry a number of years. What's your background? Tell me a bit about your story.
Go ahead.
So that was kind of an interesting start. Shirley was in the financial industry about 3 to 4 years before I was.
Okay.
And so she kept trying to invite me out to come and see what she did. And that didn't go over so well. I just kind of ignored her for 3 or 4 years. So we're sitting at the breakfast table one morning. I think it was Sunday morning, and I've got the checkbook out and I'm balancing, the old style checkbook, right?
Yeah.
And I'm balancing the checkbook and I'm going, there's $14,000 in our bank account. And I said, there's a mistake here. Like, somebody's put $14,000 in our bank account. I got to phone the bank tomorrow and find out what's going on. And I'm just flipping out that this $14,000. And Shirley says, no, that's a pension transfer. I got paid for a pension transfer, $14,000. And I'm going, I'm in.
Wow. So to get spouse support, making money is a big part of it.
A big part of it.
Awesome. Awesome. Good for you guys. So Shirley, then you started, what year was that then when you started?
What year was that?
2004?
2005.
2005, and then you came along a few years after.
2008.
Yeah.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
Shirley now, so then 13 years, going on 14 years in the business. Wow, and 10 years for yourself.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you're both full-time in the business together?
Oh,
Yes.
Amazing. So how do you find that? Because I've had people ask my wife and I, how do you work together? Because she's the president, I'm the CEO. Truth is, we don't work together. we work in the same office, but
Yeah.
she's doing one thing, I'm doing another. But as a couple building the business together as executive directors, what's that look like? What's the pros and cons?
Some days it's very challenging.
Yeah,
Sure.
Honestly, it took it took a while to define our roles.
Sure.
Shirley is very much the appointment, going, meet the client, do the paper. Well, actually, I would prepare the paperwork.
Yeah.
Now there's less paperwork, which is a blessing.
Yeah.
But I was the guy on the phone,
Right.
and talking to
He's
people
the outgoing one.
in the grocery
Right.
stores and
Right.
wherever, the Safeways. Yeah,
So the key was defining the roles.
exactly.
It's funny, I think back to Leanne and I, back in our days with our former company before we started Experior, that's where we had met as well, in the industry. And I still remember that Tim, who later became the MC at our wedding, he's one of my best friends since high school. He also is in commissions, Tim. And he made a joke at his wedding that he learned what not to do in marriage once he got married later, but he was kind of poking fun of us at our wedding. That we taught him a good lesson, because it's tough working with your partner until you get those roles defined.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
It's the same as marriage.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's great. So now you guys have joined us, and you're already on track for multiple six figures this year, it already looks like, which is fantastic. I mean, you've got a great thing going.
Yeah.
You're strong personal producers, and you're starting to build. So tell me a bit about that. What's the transition look like for you guys? Because you've been strong personal producers. Now you're starting to build. Tell me what's the transition like? Because so many people watching this might be from other financial firms where they don't have that building aspect.
Yeah, actually that was part of our struggle, was the building before and stuff too. But I think it's just a total different way you look at it and approach it. And I find it more relaxed atmosphere. So I think it's easier to talk to people and bring them in a different way. It's not like we just recruit.
Right.
So it's more of, you want to work your own business, basically.
Yeah.
And they seem to be more interested in something that they can do for themselves.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Right on. And when you guys, when you started Shirley in the business in 2005, what were some of the challenges that you faced, and how did you get over that? Because you guys were making six figures before we found you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've already had success. What were some of the things that helped you become successful?
Well, she didn't make that money till I joined.
Oh, sure. But what would you say are some of the things that you guys did together that helped you get to that level of success?
Really focusing on what we wanted and taking pictures of things and putting them on our phone. And then it was funny because when I went to a convention and I sat there and I'm thinking, okay, this is some of the things I had already decided of, some things I needed to know when I went there. So I had a purpose in mind, what I wanted to get out of the convention. And when I got there, everybody seemed like they were talking to me, and it's like, oh, wow. everybody's doing it in a record amount of time, and that I can do that too. So I went back and then just focused on it, took pictures of what we wanted and stuff, and put them on our phone, and just tracked everything.
Right.
And before we knew it, we were there.
So 2 things out of that message then. Planning, number one, because you had to track everything, so you had to plan, see what you're doing, the numbers, right? Because this is a numbers business. And then secondly is getting around people that have had success, right? And that's the one thing. And today we had that executive director meeting earlier today when we couldn't even fit in this big room here. And it's just fantastic because when you hear the other people's success stories and people coming up and, with Zachy making 6 figures in a month this month, that stuff gets others to start believing more that these dreams can become a reality.
Oh, it's huge. And we talk about goals and focusing on those goals. And that's exactly what Shirley is talking about is exactly what we did. Yeah. We were always kind of hovering around 48,000, 49,000 a year, just kind of always struggling, right? Yeah. And then Shirley came back and said, we got to do 50K. And I said, okay, well, let's do it. So we broke 50K right away. 4 months later, we broke 100K.
Wow.
So it was just that focus. That was the determining factor. It changed everything for us.
That's huge. Yeah. So now we're starting 2019. You guys just joined us a few months ago. What is your goal for this year in your business?
My goal is, we want to make 100 before April 1st. Yep. And then from there, I think by the end of the year, we should be able to do the 250.
250 by the end of the year. Because that's kind of like our minimum wage now, right? 250, right? You heard that today.
I don't want to be a slum.
No, you're good. That's awesome.
I don't know how you pay the bill.
And what does making more money mean to you guys? Because to everyone it's different, right? Some people just want a bigger house. Some people want to put an addition on their house. Some people want a nice car, put their kids through school, charity. What is it for you guys? What is making $250,000? That's more money than I'm assuming that you guys have ever made in a year before. Yeah. Okay, so what does that mean for you guys in your lifestyle? What goals do you have with that?
Well, being able to do what we want when we want to do it, I think is big. And I mean, that this job actually offers you that time, time to do what you want.
So the freedom.
The freedom, the lifestyle, and being able to help the kids out, whether it be with a payment for a mortgage or whatever. Yeah. I mean, we've got 7 grandkids now, so it'd be nice to be able to put them through school and help them out too. So
that's awesome.
I like giving back. Yeah. That's my big thing. And and the grandkids definitely be part of that as well. Yeah. But even now I'll carry a $20 bill in my pocket, and I mean, Shirley and I always have to decide whether this is a good person to give this money to.
That's right.
It's not just
not
anybody. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And there was a really interesting story. We're at this drugstore one night, and there's a guy standing at the corner of the drugstore, and well-dressed guy, and he says, I'm really having a tough time. He says, do you have a few dollars you can spare? And so I went in. I said, just stay here. So I went in and I talked to Shirley and I said, this guy's outside, and explained. And I had a $50 bill in my pocket. So I gave it to him. Yeah. Wow. And to me, I can just step that up. Yeah. If I'm making out $250,000 a year, I can
more
make a
to bless others.
Yes, exactly.
That's powerful. And you know what? It's amazing because my wife is the biggest giver on the planet. I get emotional thinking about my wife with this aspect of her life. And one of the things that we did around the Christmas time in the break there was, what are we going to do as a family to bless somebody? What can we do to help others? Yeah. And it's so powerful because we're not put here just to make money and hoard it. Hey, we're going to get nice things. We're going to have the toys. We can do the different things. But it's beautiful what you said there, that we can do that. Rick, you said something at a convention that we had in Red Deer. Okay. Oh. It was one of my highlights. Nat said something that was amazing. And then you also said something that was one of my personal highlights. I want you to share that with everyone because that meant so much when you said that. I was like, that was awesome.
I'm trying to remember exactly what I said because you'd asked me that before. And the other company that we were with, they were always famous for turn to the person on the left of you and turn to the person on the right of you. And one of the two of you are not going to be here next year.
Right.
And to me, they were just kind of predicting their own demise. Like they knew they were going to fail.
Right.
And what I said at the event was turn to the person to the left and right of you and say, I'm going to be here next year and I'm bringing somebody with me.
Right.
So Yeah.
So that's awesome. And it's right. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It
If
is.
you're going to say that this is
Absolutely.
going to happen, it's ultimately going to happen. And
Yeah.
that's awesome. I appreciated that word of wisdom. And I might steal that in my talk tomorrow,
Please do.
possibly. But at
I
our
made it up on the stage. So.
Amazing. So I want you guys to talk now to just the last couple points from each of you. Shirley, for you, when you're bringing someone new into the business, there might be new people watching this right now. And the reason I'm asking this in a lot of the interviews that we're doing with our executives, I always want that new person to get some value out of this, because that's at the end of the day, the only way we're going to grow this business is by attracting new advisors, because the average age of the industry advisor just continues to increase. We need to bring new blood into this great industry. So Shirley, for you talking to that new person, what's one great piece of advice that you would like to give them in how they can move their career to the next start, assuming they're just getting licensed right now in that sort of stage?
How would they get it to the next start? Just getting them out onto appointments and just showing them how we can change a family's life. I mean, I keep telling them that we actually save marriages, because what we do for families and how we've helped them out. And it's kind of funny, but it's not funny, but when I sit with families, I had one of the persons that trained me to start off with, I made them cry, or people cry at each table we sat at. And he's like, I'm not going on any more appointments with you because you made me cry.
Wow.
But I mean, it's that powerful.
It's
It was
powerful.
a good cry, though, because
Of
they
course,
were happy
yeah.
because they understood that we could actually do something
help
for
them.
them when they were really struggling. So
Well, the number 2 cause of divorce is money problems.
I thought it was
Exactly, yeah.
marriage.
That's true too.
but yeah, just showing them that, and when they have their first sit down with a family and they actually see that, then they're all
That's amazing. And it brings me to a story when my uncle, I sat down with my aunt and uncle, and they were in their probably mid-20s. I was 21, because they were only a few years older than me, my aunt and uncle. And I still remember my uncle pounding his fist on the table and cursing because he was so mad at the insurance agent that sold him a product that was not explained to him the way it was supposed to be. It actually turned out to be a universal life policy that he thought that it was a RESP. So he thought he had a kid's education savings plan that turned out to be a universal life policy, which is one strategy, but you have to be explaining it properly. So that to me was almost the glue in the beginning. I went, man, we're in for a fight. We can really help people here. So
And how often does that happen?
Oh, it's too common. It's way too common today, But when you see it right firsthand, that was like second appointment I ever did with my trainer. It's just one of those things that locks you in, right? So I can't agree with you more. Rick, for you talking to that newest person, what advice do you have for them? They're just getting licensed. They want to have success like you guys, and they want to do great things. What do you say?
Hang around with successful people.
Right.
Like seriously, find somebody in the office that you like, that you click with, and just start hanging around with that person. Like I've been hanging around a lot with Darren lately, and learn the verbiage, learn the words. 10 years with the other company, I honestly knew nothing about the corporate side of the company, and now I've learned more since September 1st about the corporate side of the company than I ever knew.
Wow.
And it's just because of Darren, and that's the type of person you want to hang around with.
That's awesome. Very powerful, guys.
knowledge is power, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And
Well,
don't
guys.
quit.
That's right.
If you start with this company, you don't quit.
Yep. There's always good and bad times that we're going to all go through, no matter what level you're at.
You talked about it today.
Yep.
How many people have struggled or are struggling right now.
Yep.
But get over it. Just don't quit.
Any successful entrepreneur went through challenges.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well,
worthwhile.
Shirley, Rick, absolute pleasure to have you guys as a
Thanks,
part
Jim.
of our company. And I'm looking forward to your future and the future of this company because of great people like you. So
Us too.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Hey, if you like this video or any of the other videos that I have on my channel, stay tuned. We have so many more coming, but I want to make sure that you're in the know, that you know when they're coming. So please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the notification bell.